welcome to another movie review. Today we're going to be checking out Matrix 4 Resurrections. You got your drinks ready? We're going to need it. As you can see, AG's not here. It's going to be Alex and I reviewing this one. AG's going to do a little vlog like we did last time for Suicide Squad. But yeah, as you know, we saw the trailer for Matrix and we got downvoted. And they're like, you guys are being very negative about this. I don't want to say we told you so, but we told you so. We went in with low expectations. I came out with even lower expectations. This, I don't know what this was.
Look, out of all of the movies we've seen this year, this is certainly one of them. All
yes. Right? Well, okay, yeah.
It was a movie.
Yes.
Look, Matrix Resurrections, for me, is about hope and promise, right? If you're somebody who wants to get into Hollywood, and let's say that you want to be a fight choreographer, but you've never seen two human beings fight before. You've never seen an action movie. This movie will give you hope that you, too, can be the fight choreographer for a major blockbuster movie. If you've never written a script before and you don't know how human beings interact with each other,
you too can do it.
You can do it. This movie should give you so much hope because so much of this movie was garbage. There were some laughably bad fights.
Yes.
There's a fight that we actually see a little bit of in the trailer. Look, we're not going to go over any heavy spoilers in this section. We'll talk about spoilers later. But in the trailer, you see that new Morpheus and
what's up with the recast? Is it?
No, it's just it's a new Morpheus. I don't know. I'm sure that someone on the internet it's like, oh, Lawrence Fishburne didn't want to do it, or this was important because they wanted to show that it's a new thing, and that's fine. I don't really care enough about this movie to care and think about this too much. But the fight between the two of them was so laughably bad.
It's just as long too as it was in the trailer.
Yeah,
just as bad too.
This movie has scenes that I do like. It has tons of like really fun member berries. There are some cool action sequences. There is some cool stuff that exists in this movie. But the problem is then there's like the other hour and a half of this movie. It's about 2.5 hours long. Yes. A lot of it is very bad. And it doesn't do... And it's very meta for some reason, where it's very self-aware, especially in the first act, where they're like making fun of their own development of this movie.
Yeah, WB says we got to do it.
We got to do it. They're gonna make Matrix 4 without us, so we gotta do it. And I don't. Everything about this movie kind of felt off for me. Now you may be sitting at home going, "Well, I enjoyed it," and I'm not making fun of you. It's totally fine. I don't enjoy any of that stuff. I don't enjoy the bad action sequences. We're missing so much. It just kind of explained this movie. Neo does at no point in this entire movie does Neo hold a firearm. I know,
once you pointed it out, I kept looking. I was like, now he's going to get a gun? No gun. What about
Keanu Reeves is one of the most... he does so much weapons training. And it's a point of pride for him. He's so good at it. It's so believable because he has those skills.
Yes.
Imagine making a movie
that's utilize it.
That's based on like gunplay and gun time and bullet time and stuff, and they're like, we're not going to give him a gun.
Mind you, there's guns everywhere.
There's guns everywhere,
except his hands.
Except for in his hands. And I understand that they're like, oh, well, there's a reason for it. You just don't get it. No, we get it. You have to understand that when you're making a remake of a 20-year-old franchise. There are things that you have to hit. We just saw kind of a fan servicey movie in Spider-Man. And Spider-Man knew what it had to do, right? It was tons of little member berries, and it knew how to celebrate the fandom and give people what they want, but do it in an interesting and satisfying way. And this movie did none of those things.
I feel like this one did too much of the, remembers, all right, let's watch a movie within a movie. Within another movie, it's like, hey, check this out. This is when we first met. Hey, check this out. Check this one out.
Yeah.
There's too many member berries in this.
Yeah, it's not that I don't mind if they had just kind of referenced the original films. I think the issues that I have with it is literally playing in the background, and they try to hand wave and say this is why they're playing it in the background. I'm embarrassed for the people who made this movie that are like, we're just gonna play the better movie in the background. It's like, can you just please put that on? Can we just skip all this new stuff? I just want to watch that movie because that one was the better movie.
For sure, yeah. Well, yeah. Quick summary, obviously. Mr. Anderson has to find out if his world is real or not. So once again, he goes into the Matrix and tries to find out if it's real or not.
And that's pretty much all we can tell you without spoilers.
Yeah, there you go. That's the gist of it.
The movie tries to do what a lot of other rebooted franchise does, right? So it's a rehashing of the first movie. Neo is there. You know, there's arguing about whether this is real, what is not real, and then there's like a heist to get a body back, and then they go through that whole thing. Yes, there's a lot of other things on the way, but they're trying to, you know, go by the same formula. Now, the issue is, I don't know if that was the studio decided that that's what had to be done, because, you know, there is a lot of meta jokes where they're making fun of the whole development of this, and so it's like, wait a minute.
They knew what this was.
Yeah, but whose fault is it? Because I want to know who to blame for this thing.
WB.
Because, now, for the original Matrix, I'm a curmudgeon. I love the first one. I love half of the second one, and the parts of the second one I don't like, and I don't really care for the third one. This, I was worried that it was going to continue to go down the path where it wasn't as good and it didn't feel genuine. And unfortunately, that's where I ended up for this one.
Yeah, I think they took that. We got to make this movie bigger, badder. Emphasis on the badder part too literally.
Yeah, bad.
Right?
It's bad. Who's bad? This movie.
Yeah. To me, even the side characters, I couldn't get behind.
What's one of their names?
The only one I know is because it's Bug. The Bug, right? Blue hair?
No.
Bugs?
Bugs.
So she's
Like Bunny.
Yeah.
Not Bug. Yeah.
That's the only one I know. Do you remember any of the other cast, though?
Shepard. One guy's name was Shepard. Then there was...
Yeah,
the other one?
There was no team chemistry between any of them.
There was also no tension. Something that the original did pretty well is it showed that there was tension by showing that there was death and people were expendable, and then that there was risk that people could die. This movie showed you immediately that everyone within the Matrix cannot shoot firearms at all. I mean, point blank, cannot kill. I'm not talking about powered up, named characters. Even the no-name characters that we don't care about cannot die in any circumstance in this movie. So there's no tension. I don't fear for anyone. The characters don't even look like they're afraid because they know they're bulletproof too. They know that everyone pulling a trigger in this movie is dumb.
Even when it tried to have some tension, I was like, who's dying? I don't know.
I don't care.
It's like, that person is like, she was in the movie? I didn't even know she was in here.
Yeah.
I feel like they underpowered Neo, too.
Oh, they did on purpose.
Big time. I was like, all right, yeah, I get it. It's like, well, he's going back. He's learning. I was like, but he just seems like a one-trick pony to me.
Yeah, what did you think of, without going into too many spoilers, what did you think of the main villain?
Were they there for comedy relief or what?
I don't think they were supposed to be funny at all.
Oh, well.
A little humorous every now and then, but I don't think that
I thought they were going for humor, and it failed miserably. I honestly did not really enjoy any of...
Now you have me wondering if you were right and they were actually going for humor, or if I just assumed that they're really terrible at writing.
I don't know. I thought they were going for humor. I was like, well... It still didn't work.
Yeah,
either way, it still didn't work.
Either way, the villain wasn't super compelling.
No.
The villain is either very powerful or not powerful at all, and
very inconsistent.
Everything is all over the place. Now, one of the things that you can poke holes in all of the original movies based on writing and circumstances and coincidences and things. The issue is that there is no suspension of disbelief in this movie because it starts bad, it moves on into bad scenes, bad fight scenes, bad everything. And so I think that I personally got sucked out of the movie almost immediately.
I did as well.
Nothing was able to kind of pull me back in. I want to talk more about spoiler stuff and the stories. So do you want to go into final verdicts?
Yeah, final verdicts. For me, this is...
I go first.
Oh, you go first.
Because you're in the chair. You have the last word.
Right, that's right.
You're in the captain's chair.
I forgot.
I think that... I don't think that this is the divisive movie that people are kind of selling it to be. I don't think people are going to love or hate this movie. I don't think this movie has anything in it that is anywhere near as good. So someone would love it. And honestly, if you hate this movie, I maybe understand. I think this is like a meh movie. It is somewhere between below average and average. The only thing that really kind of hurts is it's a Matrix movie, and it's a franchise that grew up kind of loving, well, mostly kind of loving. And I love Keanu Reeves in the projects, and I think I'm going to go with this is a below average movie. There's a lot of personal bias in there because I do wish that we got more Keanu Reeves action sequences.
Yes.
We know that he can do. We know that they can do explosions, and we know that the stories can be more compelling. But this wasn't it. I don't know what happened with this movie. I don't know who the fight choreographer was. And it may not be the fight choreography. Honestly, it may just be the person behind the camera that is filming at the wrong angle, so you can clearly see that they're wildly swinging and there's 3 feet between them, and then someone is like hitting the soundboard, punch, kick, punch, punch, kick. And so I'm going to go 4 out of 10. I think this is a slightly below average movie.
Okay, all right.
4 out of 10. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit harsher. I'm going to go with the 3. This is a 3 for me. Like the runtime, you really feel the runtime. This was like long.
It's a 4-hour movie, right?
Yeah, it felt like a 4-hour movie. I felt like there was no chemistry between Trinity and Neo or any of the cast, Morpheus and Mr. Smith. I don't know why they got
Mr. Smith, Agent Smith,
or whatever. They could have just named them whatever.
It didn't matter.
It wouldn't have added anything. And that's another thing. This, in my opinion, doesn't really add to the story or enhance it. If anything, it just makes it kind of worse. So with all that, and they underuse Neo. Like
Keanu, Neo or Keanu, both. Yeah, both.
Both. They could have done way better fight scenes. Way better, like gunplay or something. But you're right. He didn't even hold a gun once.
No.
Why?
But maybe we're just missing the metaphors about coping mechanisms and creating worlds that we can live in to avoid trauma. Do you think that we're missing the bigger picture, or do you think that it's possible that if you wanted to make a movie that's a metaphor, you should have made a good movie that has a metaphor in it?
Bam.
So
yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's those kids that are out of touch.
Yeah,
not us.
This is kids.
Yeah.
So there you go. Stick with us for spoilers if you don't want to see it or you've already seen it. I would say just go to spoilers. Look, we saw it for free, and I still feel cheated. I don't know about you.
I could have been playing video games.
Yeah.
And instead we watched that. So
yeah. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the spoilers. Welcome to the spoilers. Well, Mr. Anderson goes back and he learns force push. That's it. That's all he does the entire movie. Block and force push.
Yeah, but he did that at the Game Awards too. Remember when he does this a lot? It's because he's been doing that in the movies.
That's all he does. That's it.
But he knows Kung Fu. Except he doesn't.
He doesn't, though.
Yeah, so this is kind of a rehashing of the first one loosely.
Yes.
So they find Neo. Neo's kind of stuck in this little time loop thing. The Matrix has been recreated, and the robots have they haven't resurrected, but they kept Neo and Trinity alive, realizing that their bond, their connection was somehow special. So it kept them, close, but never together, because they never got together.
So he made the game Matrix.
Bad stuff happens. And so so he's a video game designer, and then he made the game Matrix within the Matrix. It's kind of a coping mechanism, and he created Morpheus or something. And then the people in the real world come to rescue him, and it was actually pretty easy. Rescuing him wasn't a very difficult thing at all. They bring him out, and he's like, "Hey, when you rescue me, I saw Trinity." And they're like, "I don't know how we're going to do that." He's like, okay, we're going to go do that. And then they went and did it. There were some doodads along the way. They met some exposition robots who explained things.
Yeah.
And then they rescued Trinity. And ultimately, they're like, oh, this only works if Trinity agrees to come with us. So we had another moment where the character is having to mentally determine what's real and what's not real, and you have different things try to manipulate them. And I hate that. And it is in The Witcher. I hate it. It was in Superman and Lotus, and I hate it there. It is so cheaply and poorly done. Now, the one thing that I liked about this one is it was short. She has like this inner turmoil for 3 seconds.
I thought you meant like the movie. I was like, we watched
No.
that movie.
No, that one scene where she's trying to decide what's real and what's not real is 3 seconds long, and then she immediately shouts Neo, and it turns out that the big reveal is that Neo can only force push, but now Trinity is the one, and she can fly, and she can ninja kick faces off, and
She is a chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
But so now they're gonna go.
But then he learns his powers, but we see that's off screen. He learns his powers off screen, and then they fly around.
Terribly. That's some pretty.
No,
bad
it was great.
At the
Have you
very
seen
end.
Matrix 2? That's bad CGI.
Well, Matrix 2 was like years ago.
It looked terrible for the time. All right, like. I mean, anything else that you want to spoil for this one? We've got a cast of characters. That I
the
don't...
villain is Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
So he's the one. He's a mastermind. He's working for the Suits. So he was in charge of them and like gave them assignments or whatnot. And then they go. He's supposed to be the comedy relief. That's what I thought.
I think he's supposed to be humorous because that's just like, and Neil
That's
Patrick
just him,
Harris is
right?
kind
Yeah,
of that's
just
kind
him.
of his personality. I
Yeah.
don't think that role is supposed to be funny.
Okay, well, either way,
It's
didn't laugh.
it's terrible.
It was very bad. It was poorly written. I don't know what.
You didn't buy that.
No.
The one is affected by time. So the analyst is what his name is. His power is he can do bullet time. He learned by watching Neo, and then now he can do bullet time, but no one else can do it, and Neo is powerless to it. But everyone else is powerless to it except for Agent Smith. Agent Smith was Neo's boss the whole time, and then he's not immune. He's immune to bullet time, and he beats up Neil Patrick Harris, and then the movie ends.
Well, then no. Neil Patrick escapes, and then they have this ridiculous Ducati that can outrun everything, but can't run out the cars. So
It's a very slow motorcycle. They're
yes,
very heavy.
it's a very slow motorcycle. So then the analyst starts using the bots as bombs. Everyone in the skyscraper just jumps out of the window and goes splat.
Yeah, there's a lot of
splat.
Instead of all the Matrix being filled with nothing but human beings, a huge portion of the population are programs in there, and they're married to people. They're doing everything, and it allows them to do what they call swarm mode,
Yes.
which is like a little mini zombie mode within the Matrix. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean,
But
it was
they didn't really
implemented.
do
They didn't do
much
anything
with
with it, and then the horde just disappears to let all of the everyone lives in this movie. By the way, not a single person dies.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say too. Like, well, the one tension where the girl is gonna die is like, oh, with the tattoos and shoulders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like, well, I'm here because Trinity was like a hero. She's badass. I'm here to help you in any way. And then she's like, oh, I'm dying. But then she doesn't.
But then someone shows up and saves her. There was no tension in
there
her
wasn't.
dying.
I was like, I don't care if she dies. Like, we met her for like 1 second. I don't really know her.
We don't know your name. We don't know any of these things. This
honestly just felt very emotionless.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about any of the characters.
Yeah, it's a very, very.
Which is just.
I mean, it's crazy because I won't speak for you. I like some of the movies by numbers things that you see a lot coming from Marvel and from Disney, right?
Yeah,
they've got a formula, and look, I get that they are formulaic, almost soulless movies, but they do it right to the point where at least while I'm watching it, I'm enjoying it. Everything about this was bad, and they tried to do the same thing where they're trying to reboot something or recapture all these other things, and they just fucked it up so bad here.
So you want to stick with your 4?
I do. I mean, I do think it is a 4 out of 10. I would rather watch some of the 3 out of 10s.
But it's funny though, because you basically explained the plot in less than 5 minutes, and like they did so hard to stretch what you did in 5 minutes, and you could really feel that. It was horrible.
It's almost like there's some sort of malice between the writers and the audience. So like, the people watching our movies are fucking dumb. So not only do we have to tell them what's happening, but we have to show them the scene that it references to that happened 20 years ago. Yeah. It's like you have to assume that your audience is at least a little bit smarter than that.
But if you were Neo and then the video's playing in the back, so remember when we first met? You're like looking at him, looking at it doesn't really look like you. Is that you?
That's not you.
That's not you.
That's not you.
Something's going on. This is fishy. I don't buy it.
Yeah, it was also 60 years ago. And they do make jokes about, Keanu looking so good for his age.
But then, you see little shots, like flashes of them looking old. Because you see the reflection of Trinity. She looks
they've been resurrected into new bodies. That's something that they kind of hand wave. And they say, the reason that you don't actually look like you is you think you look like you. But everyone else sees you differently.
Yeah, that's where you see the reflection.
And that's why
the old people.
And that's why the people in the real world couldn't necessarily find them. They've been kind of like cloaking them away. Mm-hmm. But Neo wanted to be caught after 60 years. He did the thing, and
then we also get the ancient ones, or what are they called? Exiled ones.
Yeah, you didn't like? Did you like that cameo?
No.
Why not? You didn't think it was almost offensive? There was like a war between the programs post. Neo robot apocalypse after Matrix 3. And so there was a lot of programs that were purged. And so a lot of the programs that you saw in the original trilogy are now purged, exiled out. And Agent Smith plugs them back in. And we get a cameo, a dirty hobo cameo from Matrix 3.
I'm surprised you remember that.
That guy? Oh, I was jealous. You remember who his wife was?
No. Who is it?
You don't remember?
No. Oh God, who was it?
It's when they fight the ghosts and everything.
Oh.
Monica Bellucci?
Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Monica Bellucci is a dirty homeless guy wearing a rag suit, and he's yelling things, and I didn't care. I didn't care enough to listen to anything he was saying.
I honestly don't know what he said. He's just like mouthing stuff while there's a fight going on, and he's yelling while the fight's still continuing. And
he made a joke.
At the end, he spits and walks away.
He spits and makes a joke about returning in a sequel.
I hope not.
Only you can prevent a sequel.
Exactly. Yeah. What else is there that we maybe missed?
This is a 2.5 hour long movie that nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that's what I was like. They honestly could have cut an hour. They could have been an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and still gotten whatever story they wanted to across.
I'm just so disappointed in the action sequences. I'm so disappointed in the combat. I don't think the story was very good. There's some okay parts in the story. Trust me, we understand what they're going for here.
But it's just not. Some of the little small things that are good is not worth.
It's completely drowned out by all of the either mediocre or subpar things. So. I don't know if this was studio interference and they were, correct in saying, look, we are truly going to make this movie with or without you, so you might as well try to unfuck the situation. And I don't know if this is them making the best of a really bad situation, and that we should be praising them for making something that is at least has a beginning, middle, and end. For half the money they got, I would write the same thing and put my name on it too, because they get paid a lot of money to make these movies.
For sure.
But I'd almost rather, if you have enough money, just say, no, I've got standards. I have standards instead of preferences. I'm not making this awful movie.
Well, like you were saying, they were self-aware. Like whenever they're like, all right, we're going to make the Matrix 4, the video game. we need some ideas. It's like, well, let's just make it dumb and brainless. Let's do this and that. Like the suits are trying to do stupid shit with it and dumb ideas.
Yeah, I think it's they're trying to poke fun. That like again, a lot of meta jokes.
Yeah.
And those meta jokes could have been great if the end
Done
product had
correctly.
been good, right? If this movie had been amazing and all of those meta jokes were just bad ideas that didn't leak into this movie, then I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. But the people who made this movie look as dumb as those idiots in the room going, well, The Matrix is about, stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe you should add like a zombie mode.
yeah, everyone likes zombies.
So, I think that pretty much covers everything, spoiler-wise.
Yeah, I would say that you should skip this one if you really, really love the original Matrix trilogy.
Seen it,
Even
watch it at home if you want to.
Even if you like Matrix 3, which I don't know, then maybe you'll like this one. But I would watch it on HBO Max. I wouldn't go to the theater for it. I would rather say, even if you've seen Spider-Man twice, go see Spider-Man again. That would be a much better
that one or
time.
Nightmare Alley.
I think Nightmare Alley is a much, much better film. Like, honestly, I'm thinking about Nightmare Alley. It's like Nightmare Alley is a 10 out of 10 compared to what we just watched.
Sure.
Like,
that's honestly what I was thinking. I was like,
because that movie...
Now I feel like I should have given Nightmare Alley a higher score or something.
Because this is a movie that is just as long, but nothing happens, and there's nothing important, and... I'm actually debating with, do I drop the score? No, I think this is...
There you have it, folks.
Yeah, I think that this is just simply a below-average movie that I wish didn't get made. But if you tell me this movie is I
just don't get it.
I don't get it. You don't understand metaphors. Okay.
Yeah, no. This is a movie. That's all the positivity we could give it. So, yeah, thanks again for sticking with us in the spoilers. So those of you who watched it, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for watching another movie review with Alex and OJ.
Yeah, this has been another one of OJ's bad movie reviews.
Oh, yeah,
people have been begging for it. This totally counts.
That counts, right?
This
is bad, not bad good, though.
A lot of your movies are bad.
Well, even we were drinking, it still didn't make it good.
Yeah. That's not enough.
Well, anyways, thank you guys. And we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.